a strong center, a strong hub, but on the other side to look around the world. This is one of the best and most beautiful things that we have done, the possibility to go around the world. So that we are investing, we want to invest, we are this attitude, I said before, to use together the different structural funds, to establish some hubs, but inducing people to look complementarity activity any way where we can find real complementary specialization. In this sense, let me say something. It's crucial that we establish very clear incentive schemes in this country. Because if in this country, inside the university, like inside the public research center, we have a central agency making evaluation. And evaluation is just based on publication. I cannot induce my researcher to spend time to promote innovation. So the incentive schemes in any organization based on people is crucial. So if we make a mistake, considering that the only way is how many articles you publish in your strict 4-digit discipline, because this is the only way to go to become professional. This person is not induced in any case to speak with anybody, because he has to stay there. The real problem is, which is the real goal that we are looking together for. If it's the building up of the innovation system, the national innovation system, also the incentive schemes has to be designed for these results. Otherwise, we are simply used to move individually, to work for my own very private objective. What we have done in this region, but let me say this concept of region, in an open economy and in Europe, where with a very asymmetric instrument of monetary union, we move to integration. For us now, we have much more real incentive to be a part of the central region of Europe with Bavaria, with the other part of the country. So there is also a national duty to relink the different parts of the country. For this reason, an infrastructure, the basic infrastructure for the country, like CNR, is crucial. We cannot lose part of the country. I had the opportunity to discuss with people from Volkswagen for this story of Lamborghini. You know that Lamborghini moved the basic investment from the Central Europe to Emilia-Romagna. And we discussed it a lot with them. Of course, we provide some incentives for research. But at the end of this program, when they decided to come to invest here, very close to here, to Bologna, I asked them, why we convince you to invest here in Emilia-Romagna? And the answer was, first, because you and the other people with you are credible. We trust you. Second, because you have 4 ancient dynamic universities, because you have the centers in Bologna, because you have a structure where we can invest, reducing our risk. This one is what we are trying to do. We have to put together all the big structure for research and invest in people. Consider that they have to work together. Believe me, for many years I was rector of the university and responsible also national level of the university. But when to speak with the people, say, you have to work together. Also coming from different disciplines. Because everybody now is speaking about interdisciplinary. But you are evaluating for your 4 PG things. And the smaller It's the best because you publish there. What we have to do is to learn to work together. That's all. That's all folk, as I say in the movie.
Thank you. Dr. Rosso. Is Horizon 2020 and the role of the European Union proceeding the correct way, and if you, what you can do for research and for programs to, like this?
What we can offer? Well, Horizon 2020 is a program that was conceived very carefully in order to cover a very broad range of gaps that have been pointed out since many years in the path from lab to industry and market. So just to give the broad picture, there is funding for excellent research, which is the ERC, and it's bottom up. And this should be able to gather all these new needs and react more quickly to new ideas and technology. Then there is the funding for collaborative projects, which should give the opportunity to have funding for work that is aiming at proof of concept, demonstrators, and that allows the collaboration with non-traditional players. Like you can have horizontal actors and the whole value chain in these projects, including things that usually are not in research projects, like business specialists, technological transfer specialists, creative industries, the designer, for a project that is aiming at a product. Who will know better than a designer where the project should go? And the earlier you integrate this atypical expertise in a research project, the higher is the likelihood that your final result will not have some fundamental flaws that will say, okay, this is never going to the market, or this is never going to address a need. But then there is a lot of funding also for even closer to the market activity, the pilot lines, the SME instrument, the fast track to innovation. And these are really a bit a novelty for Horizon 2020, although towards the end of 2007, this type of activity had started to come in play. But now it's really one of the strong points of Horizon 2020 to say, okay, maybe you will still need, after the demonstrator, you will still need money to develop and tweak a few things from the invention that you already made and really to bring it closer to something that can attract the final commercialization, which we don't fund. Commissioned part of the funding, we don't fund the final bit. But up to that final bit, yes. And also help is provided for those soft skills, because it's also understood that a researcher, they have to study a lot to become the best in the technology field, and then we are asking them to become marketing experts, business sellers. There are things that they don't know how to present themselves to investors, how to present a research project in a way that is attractive to banks. So there is also help for developing the business plan, the soft skills, and all that is complementary to innovation. I would like to address 2 points that were raised also. One was this problem of open innovation. So the tendency of keeping everything secret and IPR confidential. And there is a pilot at the moment on open data. Now this is usually interpreted as saying, okay, the Commission wants us to publish everything. This is not what the Open Data Pilot is about. The Open Data Pilot and the broader concept of open science is to say, you are a research team or you are a consortium, collaborative project, please think carefully of the results and the outcomes of your project that you might have. And then of these results, think carefully of what is the best exploitation strategy for those results. And some may be better protected, and then there is IPR help and support, although I know the projects find it is still very challenging. But the other things might not be needed to be protected. That might be even better, a better business model to keep it open. So the Open Data Pilot tries to address this issue in making people think at least and make a plan. And the second thing that resonated with me was the question of evaluations. Perhaps it was meant more in terms of the career of researcher. But I would say that this is a crucial aspect in everything that concerns with policy, because one thing is to put the priority out there and to say what we want, but then the other thing is put it into practice, the implementation aspect. And if the evaluators are not in tune with these new priorities and with the effort to innovate, then everything falls apart. Say. So there is a very big need of having evaluators that understand the business side of research or understands the innovation practical aspects. And then I would like to invite you to create these alliances with people that know this, or you yourself, if you are qualified, to go and register as experts in the expert database, because there is the probability that you will be called to relate calls that are very atypical on SME instrument or on innovation projects. And I think it's very important that the whole community feels involved and participate to the implementation and buys into this priority and participate to the implementation of the program. Because only by having really the people understand and buy into the priorities that this change will seep through what matters more, which is at the end the research community and the society at large.
Thank you. Dr. Williams, for you also this issue is crucial, I think.
Yeah. So if I would summarize at the political level for us it's really crucial to get access to the political decision-making bodies. And at the European Commission, it works, I think, in the sense that we've tried to reach out to the member states. We were successful in some countries. In Italy, we haven't been. So we have a so-called mirror group where ministry representatives come together from different countries and discuss about their strategies and doing joint calls, really. And in the last 10 years, we haven't managed to get somebody from Italy. So usually somebody from a university was sent as a representative. But these are not the guys who can make decisions. So, and that's, for us, then very difficult trying to, let's say, come up to speed and try to align our strategies. This is actually what we're doing community-wise with the industry and the research organizations, but also at political level. That's first. Second, what I feel is that there are some countries in Europe where the, let's say, decision-making bodies at political level listen to their communities, and some countries where I think they don't. And you can divide these countries. Some are successful and some are not as successful. successful. And I think there a real change in the mindset needs to come. And so I'm not a specialist on Italy, but I think the access of the photonics community to the decision-making structure is not so good as we would like it to be. So this is, for instance, different in the UK, in France, this has changed, in the Netherlands, this has changed, and I think we need to work on that in Italy. It would be very important. At the regional level, we actually have worked together with regions for some years already. So this is not so bad, I must say. Of course, structure-wise, there's a problem because you try to bring together different worlds, but they are much more open to collaborate. I think bringing together communities like we do at the European level could be a role model for other countries. And as a matter of fact, we have, with partners in the countries, we have established the so-called national technology platforms, where the community comes together and come up with a plan for this country. But of course, you need the other side. You need the political level. Otherwise, the community will fall apart. They need to see, let's say, a goal and also an effect of their work. So if they come up with this strategy, a research strategy, then of course on the other side there needs to be somebody who says, thanks, we try to implement it. And so this, I think, is for us something we try to work on very hard, and that's far beyond the photonics PPP in Horizon 2020, where we think the processes are established. They are open and transparent. We invite the European Commission to follow each individual meeting and each decision making in the platform, and I think that's important as well. Just try to be open. Yeah, I think that's it, maybe from my side.
Thank you. Dr. Pretolani, now, why are investors and capital ventures so badly perceived often because they want to their money back to do you think they need to be paid in due time?
Venture capitalists work with usually 10, 13 years horizon, so it's not really as fast as you may think, and they're more patient than what you think. It's not venture capitalists because they don't need you, it's the companies that need you. The companies would benefit if you were to contact them proactively. I think that you are missing out. There is a big opportunity. There is much more openness for you to contact companies. So I invite you within the limit of confidentiality, probably covers only 1% of any situation. In 99% of cases, you should really feel free to go on forums on the internet, to go on LinkedIn, on Quora, on any other, or directly contact any company that you think could be interesting for your research. You should do it more openly. I think that every time I see people contacting companies very shy, right? Should be less shy. So I suggest to be less shy. Companies want you to be less shy. Contact them. Now, there were two types of people in the public here, the lucky ones, the one that work on needs, and the unlucky one, that work on technology. Now, let's see for the two of you, the two groups, which is the different approach. Who were the people that were working on technology? Can you raise your hands? Solving technology problems? Good. Still, a lot of you still haven't changed your mind. That's a good sign. Now, for you, if you contact companies, you can have a big benefit because you may find an application for your technology. That will mean that one day your technology is used. And sometimes you can also find out that companies also have pieces of technology that you may use that you didn't know of. because most of the technology is not patented. So it's actually quite useful both to solve your technology problem and to find a use for your technology in the future that is at least a personal satisfaction that you can compromise. But then let's see the lucky ones, the ones that are working on a need. Can you raise your hands again? Good. They haven't grown much, so people are keeping consistent. Now, I'd like here to quote Professor Nicolais here. You actually could be more in trouble than your friends that are on technology. There is one thing that is much worse than working on technology, that is working on an outdated need. And then you're dead. Who knows what are the updated needs? Well, both in the case of business to consumer and B2C, usually companies know better than research institutes. So if you're working on a need, I strongly suggest you to be in very close contact to all the people that can give you information on this need. Because your need could be outdated. And then you're really toast. That's all.
Thank you. Dr. Beck.
At this point, I would like to just summarize 3 points from my side. I strongly encourage that both Horizon 2020 and Photonics 21 and other initiatives you involve industry. I think industry should, you provide the framework, but industry should really lead it. It's a major component in my mind. If university keeps providing the framework, keeps leading it, keeps getting the results, I think you are not, you're not industry driven. The change, whether we agree or disagree, I think industry driven approach is ultimately what gets you the dollars and euros. Okay? And then comes the jobs. And from the jobs come better economy, etc. That's my first point. The second point is, Lola mentioned about the evaluators. I also like to think of them as proven innovators. Build a committee that's worldwide. Really, if people that don't have experience of doing innovation or have not done, it's not to discourage them. Keep the mix, but you must have proven people in that committee that really know what innovation is, because the new team has to learn. Europe has to learn. I mean, we just heard Taiwan is taking the LCD business. US is taking a lot of business, computers, etc., iPhones. We need to have a committee. This evaluators needs to be some mix of 60-40% and global. Really, I encourage it to be global. The third one is, in my mind, is very essential. For all companies that are doing innovation, or they call it, just reach out to companies and say, you're doing innovation, what's your top innovation? Provide that company a community support. I think I heard a lot from community involvement. Let me do an example, Osram. We have a next generation of lights that we're innovating. We can easily sell to the US market, but Europe is still sitting back and saying, well, profit margin is not enough. Same price, $3 in Europe, $3 in US. There's a bigger profit margin in the US. So how do you, if you sit and wait, you'll never see the product, you won't see the product for some time, and by that time the technology is going to get outdated. So I think you need to draw the industry and say, okay, your profit margin here is not enough. This is a real story I'm sharing with you. Our marketing people have told us that they cannot sell this product in Europe because the profit margin is not enough. But the same product is going to be sold like pancakes in the US. Of course, we don't want to sell in China yet. We're limiting this, the copyright infringement, etc. is always a fear for us with the new technology. So we are trying to stay away from China this time, even though we have a presence in China. So this is very important that the community must provide, Europe as a community must provide a platform I would like to know where can I put the lights. I want to put it in Venice. I want to put it in Florence. I want to do the university. So encourage them. If you don't encourage it, it's not one or two. We have two innovations in lighting that I will present tomorrow in the workshop. Both of these innovations, the Americans have reached out. Next week they're even coming here. But we did go to European companies first, customers. But they don't even know how to start, how to apply innovation. So the third point was that. Thank you.
Is there any reply? No. So, Dr. Muccini, for some conclusion.
I'm not part of the round table, but since we want to take out the maximum out of this discussion, so maybe I can try to see if I understood what is coming out as key points. So first of all, very important point is that innovation is a collective action. So we have to be all together, all these different actors in collectively working and interacting and understanding that we cannot do it alone, and that we need other components and other contributions. I would try to understand what you said, saying that innovation, we think globally, and we think that everything that happens at a global level is important and may have an effect directly on our lives, but innovation, I would say, occurs locally. I mean, when we said that you need an infrastructure, you need a hotspot. When people decide to invest, they see what you offer them in terms of infrastructure, university being there, research centers, and all of this. But it's not, generally speaking, present. It's there. So you need to be connected. You need to have a network, but it's local. So I was thinking about, how innovation occurs and investment occurs in the US, for example. We always think the US is a very innovative place for some areas. If you look where investment, where innovation is done in three places, basically. If you want to go buy technology, you go to Boston area. If you want to go to other places, you go to the Silicon Valley, and not everywhere in the Silicon Valley. And then there is something in Texas, and something and then all the rest is spread in few spots. So innovation is local. So you need to have all the things there that people really want to decrease the risk or to have a well thought over risk assessment. So that is what I think and what I learned from you. Another thing that struck me is the distinction between innovation and invention. So invention is essential. We should build and invest in research and in new knowledge. But to make innovation, not necessarily you have to do a lot of inventions. So we need to be practically trying to balance all these things. And so, since we would like, as Paolo, and then I leave you back to be the chair of that, but we want to have a list of things. So what we learn and what we should, an action list of what we should do. So please, Paolo, try to tell us what is the action list that we have to keep in mind all together in order to make this happen faster, or at least to gain confidence and understanding of this process. Thank you.
Thank you. I need your help, obviously. What are the most important actions to do up now, at present, as fast as we can? Professor Nicolas.
That's not a simple answer. What we have to do, we have to try to, since there are many actors that are working in this subject, it's not something that we could do only by ourselves sitting here. We decide as a seminar to do something, that's not enough. We need just other people that should be convinced that something should be done. Unfortunately, I don't think that everyone is convinced about that. We are discussing it in this table. We all agreed that innovation is a key word for the development of this country. There is no way it is a key word for innovation of Europe, because the European Union has decided that, and already a few years ago were convinced that it is the key point. But from this point to the precise activity that we can develop, that's a long way. I personally feel that we have been working and we got some results in the CNR in trying really to let our researchers to understand that surely we need to do some what was called basic research, but we need also to try to use this research that we have done, which is a good point that in the past we were only doing fundamental basic research and we really didn't put too much attention for the application. But this is something that we agreed on, but not Italy has agreed on. I'm fighting with AMBU, that is the Italian Agency for Evaluation, because they still make the evaluation of the CNR, or evaluation of university, based mainly on the scientific product. And they, for example, they say that on the overall evaluation, 5% is related to the capability of our research to attract support, which is against any kind of idea, because if they have to write a project for European Union, they have to spend a lot of time, they have to put a lot of effort. Now, it's not easy to get, so they have to rewrite another proposal, and all this cannot be evaluated on 5% of the overall range. This is unbelievable that you feel that it's only 5%, and the rest is manual publication. Also for patents, there is not, of course, patents doesn't mean it's a big word, because it can be also used as patent, but surely the ability to understand how we use our capability of transfer knowledge should be key issue. And I'm personally fighting also because they still feel that the university and CNR have different mission. University and CNR have the same mission as the first mission. So this is the produce knowledge. The second mission of university is to use knowledge for teaching. But in our case, all the knowledge that we produce is to help the country to grow. And this difference is difficult to understand. And so I can say so many other things, but surely we should have also the policy makers that should understand what Europe says, and although now all the world says that evaluation should be made on the specific parameters, and the evaluation is a technical activity, but has internally a political indications. And this is the point. When you do something that is technical, of course, activity, but you normally give also some political signal that we should publish or perish, and we should, let's say, use our knowledge and do companies or transfer knowledge with the industry. There are different points that should be really, taken into account. I think we should, surely as a researcher, we should try to be more ready to speak with the companies. That's something that you have to understand. Company, they need also some basic knowledge, because invention comes from the ability of developing new knowledge. So invention is important also for innovation, not always, but it's generally very important for innovation. And invention is based on the research that has a basic approach. But surely this we are doing this, we are interacting with the industry. This year, last in 2014, our budget was 42% coming from outside sources and less than 60% from the government, which is a big challenge that we were able to reach. No university were able to do. There was no university that was able to do it like that. I think this is a good trend, but we should work more, we should work together. Interdisciplinarity, when you were speaking also, we try to change our way of evaluation of our research. Then we evaluate them with a committee that is interdisciplinary. We don't have for each specific, I'm finished. For each specific knowledge, with specific evaluator. We will have more evaluators in order to be able to just take into account the interdisciplinarity of our research. Thank you.
So different rules able to support really innovators and innovation. That's Professor Bianchi. Quick, one thing, the first thing to do to improve the interaction among these players and simplify this chain of value.
I mentioned before these needs that we have to establish at local level as, which you say, a strong hub for favoring research. Next week, at the beginning of October, we start the meetings for big data among the 4 or 5 different institutions. Within October, I have the conference between the university, I cannot say the regional university. The university established, strongly established in this region, and the president of the centers, in order to establish this plan of interconnecting the different institutions. So we are building up the infrastructure that is locally based, but of course globally diffused. And this is the way that we consider necessary also to attract new investment here. Dr. Rossi.
Sorry, and after that we go to Brussels